Good morning. Yesterday I attended my Thursday book study group. We're studying the book Dare to Be Yourself by Alan Cohen. And the moderator of the group opened by asking the question, so how did God show up in your life this week? And it went around and around the room uh, with different answers from different people. And the corollary question came to me immediately: how did God not show up in my life? Because I've come to recognize that God shows up in everything. And especially, I'm becoming more and more aware that God shows up as divine discontent, which is going to be the title that I talk about this morning. Our divine discontent. You know, humans are a funny lot. All of us. We're pretty amazing in that as long as things are going really, really well in our lives, we tend to be really complacent, laid back, and nothing really changes. Everything remains the same. We are what we are till the day that we die. For generation after generation, many humans in many parts of the world were born, lived their lives, and died with very little changing. Very little changing. So we, as I'm looking at it, have been blessed in our generation, this modern generation, with a superabundance of divine discontent. And divine discontent breeds the capability of change through the awareness of our divine gifts that we awaken to, which is, by the way, awakening to our divine gifts is the title of the talk that I'm giving at the New Way in Cocoa, Florida, this coming Sunday at 10:30. So if you have anybody that's in the Central Florida area anywhere that you know, let them know that they can come and hear me speak in person. Many of you listen to me every day around the world, but you'll be able to get to hear me face to face and in person, those of you that can, this coming Sunday. Of course, that will also be put up as soon as I have the DVD available. It will be posted on YouTube and Facebook. But in any case, the divine discontent that people are experiencing around the world is due exactly and immediately to the effect that the flame of freedom is burning, and people are not content and not pleased with the injustices that they see in our world and in our lives, the financial collapse, the judicial and governmental heavy hand that oppresses people, and many other aspects of modern life are awakening people to the need for dramatic and drastic and radical change in the way we see ourselves, in the way we respond to one another, and in the way our lives are ordered. We're no longer content. We're no longer satisfied to accept the way it has always been. Well, those people that have run things, they've always run things, but now they've become discontent and wanted to move it ahead faster and faster toward world domination and their creation of their vision of a new world order, which has created more and more and more divine discontent, more and more awakening, more and more cries for freedom. Let my people go. I watched a 9-part video sent to me from Israel, Palestine yesterday. They were unable to post it in Israel, and I posted it, or I should say I shared it on my Facebook page, the first part. But I watched all 9 parts of this Jewish lady and then later her son. They were Zionists. The lady was a Zionist in her early years, back starting in 1948 when Israel was first in its infancy of becoming a nation. And she was one of the Zionists that went out to chase people out of their own land, out of their own homes and off their own land. But she ended up marrying an Arab, a Palestinian Arab, and had a total change of heart. And it was a beautiful story of how she took in the children. It was called Arna's Children. And she actually loved the Palestinian children. And then her son joined her later. He was an actor, and they actually created a theater in the Galilee region of Israel, Palestine, and the occupied territories. It was a heartrending story, but a beautiful story of Jewish people reaching out and loving the Arab people in that troubled area of our world, where there is tremendous divine discontent. Tremendous divine discontent. And when the person who wanted to send me these videos first contacted me and made me aware of things that were going on in Israel, and he could not share them in his own nation, in his own land, I indicated to him that it has long been my belief that one of the areas of the world that has to awaken is Israel-Palestine. And I will continually hyphenate that, because it was Palestine for centuries. That was the land of Palestine. And there's a lot of people that think, well, Israel has a God-given right to that land. So there was some discontent, divine discontent, that was there, and it showed up in some ugly ways. Some ugly ways. But there's an awakening happening there. It has to happen, both in the hearts of the Jewish people, as well as in the hearts of the Israeli people and the Arab people, the Palestinian people. There's a divine discontent there, and it has to awaken. The flame of freedom is burning, and it has to burn till all the dross is burned away from the consciousness, and people have to reach out like Arna did to the other side, to what seems like it's the other side, but it's the same thing. It's in all of us. It's in all of us to awaken to the realization that what I do to someone else, I'm doing to me. Because if they cannot have peace and cannot get over their divine discontent, then neither can I. And we'll always have our spirits in an uproar as the flame of freedom burns and burns and burns in us individually, till we awaken and come home to the realization that I am connected to that other person, to those other people that somehow I believe are so different than me. One of the things I was struck with as I watched these 9 videos was the beauty of the Palestinian people. Their dreams, their hopes, their desperation, their creativity. Yes, there was violence in the video. Several of the star people ended up dead in the Intifada, the resistance to Zionist occupation. And it was all done by a woman who was born a Zionist, who was raised as a Zionist, and she was reaching out in love. Folks, it can happen when we allow it to. When we learn that there are no bad words, I mean, I've gotten accused of being an anti-Zionist, and in many respects I am. But I'm not an anti-Israeli, and I'm not an anti-Palestinian, and I'm not an anti-anything. I am in favor of awareness, awareness of the need to love one another. That's what our forebears, who brought us the gifts of our religion, which fomented the divine discontent in many cases. It created discontent in many cases, but not at the inception of any religion. At the inception of every religion was a heart of pure gold. And I don't mean hard and cold and yellow. I mean pure as in divine essence, being introduced to human consciousness by a master, by an avatar, by someone who brought a message of love and hope to the people. And every religion was started by someone who was a visionary, who had a message from God to their generation in their local region of the world. And it's time for us to awaken, because of our divine discontent, to the fact that that message, in its purity from each of those individuals, was essentially the same. Essentially the same, to remind us who we are. And we went through centuries, in some cases millenniums, of divine discontent as it took the message to reach our hearts and to reach our conscious minds and recognize that we are one. This ninth wave, that's what it's all about. East and west, north and south, black and white, and yellow and red, and Muslim and Christian and Jew, and Hindu and Buddhist and Taoist and Confucianist and Shinto and Baha'i. Name the faith. Atheist, pagan. Name the faith. We are still one. These things that we've used for centuries to divide us from ourselves cannot divide us anymore. The divine discontent is awakening us to the opportunity and the possibility of changing the way we see everything and everyone. It's not us against them, folks. It's not. I'm more and more convinced of it, even as my own life still has these areas of divine discontent that spring up where it looks like somebody is personally attacking me. God is showing up in the lawyers. God is showing up in the government. God is showing up in the international bankers. God is showing up in the Zionists. God is showing up to them. It's not about fighting them. It's not about winning on the battle against them, because the battle is something that has raged inside of me, and I'm becoming aware that in this holographic mind, in this holographic experience of my life, everything is reflecting me in the outer world. Everything is reflecting what's going on in me, and I am connected to it all. I see it all as me. God is showing up everywhere as me. And the divine discontent is me waking up. It is a gift from the Creator, giving me the opportunity, giving you the opportunity to see from a new vantage point, a new perspective. So I hope you see in your own life that God is showing up everywhere, in the good things as well as and including what you may think are bad things, because it is divine discontent that is behind it all, and it is the flame of freedom that is behind it all, burning ever more brightly to awaken humanity to our potential, so that together we can change the world. Namaste. God bless you. Thank you.